Welcome, everybody. I love to see so many people here, so thanks, everyone, for coming. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. What is Geek about? Well, first of all, let me introduce you. What are the things that led me to do this kind of unit of work? First thing we notice is that English is very important. We all know about that. We have this kind of obsession in Spain to learn English because it's going to lead us everywhere. I agree with that. It's an important tool for both professionals and students. We all know that. This is slightly different from the common units of work because it's focused on our job life. So learning English as a tool, it promotes mobility. It's going to let a student move from Spain to anywhere in the world just by knowing English. It doesn't matter what the specific job they have, as long as they know English. And the second thing is that learning English in Spain's culture, it enriches culture and tradition in both of them. A common European framework of reference for languages, which we all know about because it's everywhere. It reunites linguistic, social-linguistic, and pragmatic information. This is crucial for understanding how languages work. Now, the thing is, what is about Geek? What's the difference? Well, first of all, it was a challenge. It was a big challenge. And then, when you have to teach something related to English and graphic design, it represents a challenge, especially in this case, because there was a lack of precedent. I can say that I was the very first teacher to teach this subject when it came to law. So, challenge number 2 was the level of English of the students. How can we know about that? Because if we get to a high school and we teach English in high school, we know that our students have a basis of knowledge. But when we turn into graphic design, what's the level of that? We don't really know. We actually cannot guess. So we can guess that we're going to have an heterogeneous class because some people come from one background, some people come from high school, some people come from working since they were 16 or being waiters. So we cannot guess. We only know there's going to be an heterogeneous class. The advantage that we have with this is that the same as decoration was meant to be in Italian, and all the books, tutorials, the best ones are in Italian, or cuisine is for Spanish, graphic design is for English. All the information, all the books, every software tends to be firstly in English. That's a huge advantage. What's the context? The context that I said is a mixture between the two schools I was used to work in. Let's say it's a public arts school, it's a 4-story building, it's well equipped in the classrooms, meaning that we're going to have computers and we're going to have tables and basic things. And we're also going to have open spaces. What's the good thing about that? That we can take the students out of the class and have a lesson in the library or maybe in the lunchroom or any other place that is not actually a classroom. What kind of students are we going to have? Well, all of them are on age, older than 18 years old. Some of them might be unemployed. Some of them might be workers or recently working. Some of them might be recent graduates or people who are in another degree. This is something that we all need to put in our TFMs and everything. This is a competences and legal framework. You can find more information in the actual work. I'm not going to stop much more here because I find it a bit boring. But so you can understand what the difference is that we have cross-curricular competencies, general competencies, and specific competencies. What's the difference? Well, the first one, it's meant to be in the job life of the student. It's going to be in every single step. The second one is one that exists in different degrees related to a artistic degree. And the third one is the specific one for graphic design. So according to laws and decrees, we're going to use, this is what the law is setting us teachers to do. I find it zero accurate to what happened in the classroom and to what happened in real life. But the decree establishes that we're going to have design-related English terminology, which is pretty obvious. Use of English in professional and scientific fields that made me wonder, what kind of science are you going to have in graphic design? Maths? Vectors? Well, this was pretty useful for printing processes, but apart from that, it's not really useful. The third one is a revision of English grammar in context. This is one of the things the Spanish government tends to use everywhere, using grammar in every stage of learning English. And the fourth one, which is the more useful one, is oral and conversation understanding. Very useful if you're going to find a job by learning English in graphic design. So according to the teacher, which is me by the way, I created block number 1, which is a glossary and vocabulary, a thick book of glossary with terms that people are not usually familiar with this. Block number 2 is tools of communication, is the way that you're going to use your English in a job interview related to graphic design, not the common one in which you have questions like, why are you here? Because the universal answer is, when you answer those kind of questions, is the same, because of the money. That's always the same. But when it comes to graphic design, you need to use other vocabulary to make a difference. Block number 3 is general design, and block number 4 is resources. So every student can learn English on their own. The difference between block number 1 and 3 is that in the block number 1, you teach English using graphic design. In number 3, you teach graphic design using English. It makes a huge difference. The methodology is always the same because you have to justify what you're using. So I got the classics like the reading method, the communicative approach, everything that we learn in every university about linguistics. But I also implemented the how did I end up here method, which is finishing or ending up every single day in the dark side of the internet. When you start looking for a tutorial and you end up watching videos of a dog that barks in Spanish, that's the way to learn English. When you surf Netflix looking for a movie and it's not in Spanish and you guess a way to watch it everywhere. The evaluation, it mixes two things. First of all, a level test at the beginning of the year, so I can have an idea what's the level of every student to not combine all the exercises hardcore way. And the second one is evaluation that the law requires for every teacher, that you have to fulfill everything in a memory or a text saying and justifying why you evaluate that way. The only difference is that the level test at the beginning, I completely ignore it. I have to confess, I didn't really care about the level test. It gave confidence to the students, but I decided to ignore whether a student was more knowledgeable in English or not, because that maybe would make them afraid of the level. According to Attention to Diversity, I found 4 different types of students that could be not problematic, but it could come across some issues along the year. They were mixed ability groups, so if we have 20 students, we might have 3 with a really high level of English, 10 with a really low level of English, and you have to blend them. Another group would be those ones who were not familiar with graphic designs, because everybody in a way can access a degree on graphic designs, but you don't have to know beforehand what graphic design is or how it works. The third group would be people with higher level of English, so people who might be even bilingual. That could cause a problem. They might get bored in the class. And the last one is people who join the school late, because the administration works like that, so maybe you get noticed that you have a spot to join in a classroom. Instead of October, you may join in December. So we have to blend all the kind of possibilities to make the group work perfectly. This is how the unit of work might be planned according to time. So I chose to do it in October and a little bit of November. It's unit number 2 in the whole schedule of the year. The first unit would be a warm-up to have a basic knowledge of graphic design and English, so we could have a basis. It's like the basement of all the year. Unit number 2 is this one, and unit number 3 would be more specific about graphic design. So it could blend and have a mixture of it could work as a warm-up for the third unit and be something more specific than the first unit. The classes are of 2 hours a week. That's what the law says. And luckily, the school I was working in, they put these 2 hours on the same day. That was way better than having them spread. And this is our unit. Why that name? Basically, because I'm a geek. And everything I learned in English is because I'm a geek myself. Because I like movies, I like comics, and in Spain it wasn't that usual to have everything translated until 2000 or something. But in the 90s or late 80s, it was not very common. Especially for people who like video games, they didn't translate that. So either you learn English or either you don't play it, and that's not an option for me. Session number 1. Every session here uses a leitmotif, which is a typography, a very well-known typography. Anyway, if you don't understand anything that you see here, it's good that you ask, because it's meant to be for people like you, an heterogeneous group coming from different places and different disciplines. So session number 1 is Trajan is the movie font. Does anybody know here what Trajan is? Have you ever seen it? No? I bet you have. Some of these are written in Trajan. Trajan is the name of the font that is displayed. Minority Report is written in Trajan. Sex and the City is Trajan. Titanic is Trajan. The Lord of the Rings and Thor is in Trajan. So about 80% of the movie poster you've ever seen in your life is written in Trajan. It's so very common, it's everywhere, and it's zero original. So in this exercise, I created a debate, so people talk about what do they have in common and what's the difference between the movie poster and the way they use the typography. Like the old font is kind of childish because it's about a girl. It's kind of creepy because it's a horror movie, and if you're wise enough and you take a bit of time every time you see a movie poster, you know exactly what it's about. The ambience, the atmosphere, if it's a drama, a thriller, or a comedy, you can just guess by the lettering. Sherlock Holmes is written in typewriter, so you know it has something to do with the writer. It's not spoiler-free. And the second side of these exercises, once we do the warm-up, we have a small interview with 2 students in which they talk about movies. This is quite positive because in an environment in which you talk about graphic design, you know that your students are not going to speak about whether they like the movie and just that. They may use some graphic design terminology like, I like the interface of the movie, like Minority Report with this handling thing that they do on air, or even the composition, the color, which is actually closely related to graphic design. In the exercise number 3, it reads, with the help of your computer, find your favorite movie poster and write a comment to explain why this is your favorite movie poster, and read it out loud. So I chose personally the poster of Captain America because it uses 2 things that I really enjoyed. First thing is the shape of an A, because it's Captain America. And the second thing is the theory of Gestalt, which is the one by which you cannot see 2 elements at the same time. That's when it happens if you have a focus on this microphone. You cannot be watching me at the same time with the same quality. You have to focus on different spaces. That's what they use here. If you see the A here, which is in the void, you cannot see the captain here. And if you focus on the captain, you're not going to see the skyline here. And it's a graphic design thing. And it's everywhere. We are surrounded by that. Exercise number 4 is a bit more technical, but it's quite intuitive. It's to mention what are the elements of typography. Spoiler alert, we don't use that in typography. We don't name the spine, which is here, or the arms of the K, or the I of the E. We say that blank hole there, that thing over here, and that little thing coming out of the K. But it's good that our students know that there is a specific terminology for things like this. If you have to present your work somewhere, it's good that you know what is the correct lexicon. And lastly, I played a video which I really like that justifies why the Trajan is a movie font that you can watch on the internet, you can download from here too. And it just says everything I said here. The Trajan is a font that is everywhere and then you already seen in every single place, but you weren't aware. Lastly, so a bit more relaxed exercise, which is write a definition for each word in bold. Using bold is also a way to introduce graphic design to graphic designers. So they just have to describe that, and as I mentioned, I gave them a thick block of papers with all these glossaries, so it makes them look for all the words in a bit of a childish way, but it's very useful that they use this reading method, which is one of the classics. So they have to infer the information, they have to scan the information, they have to skim through the information, and they find another way to be related to this terminology, apart from learning it by heart. And the last exercise is a crossword. They just have to find this in all this text. As you might guess, all this composition is based, there's a reason to have all these elements displayed this way. It's better for the student to read it like this. So some books that we use in English, it's not well arranged. And that is what leads us to session number 2. The Comic Sans. I know there's a place in hell for people using the Comic Sans. So Comic Sans is a very common typography that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It was meant to to be used for kids around 3 to 6 years old. It's not complete, it hasn't been finished, and our brains tend to use a bit more time to understand when they see the Comic Sans. Why is it popular? There are different theories. My theory is that it was the only alternative that was a bit more fun than the usual ones. Is it good? Not necessarily. But for me, I think we need to know about this use, because either way, we're going to use it in places that is not appropriate. For me, using Comic Sans in a formal text is like being dressed as a clown to a funeral. Not proper. This is the exercise that I planned, and in this exercise what we did was comparing the usage of Comic Sans with logos that we already know, and they don't look good, but in a way they have to justify their answer. For me, it's especially disturbing, the one of Harley Davidson and the one from Star Wars. We are so familiar with these ones that having had to see these ones in Comic Sans, it's creepy in a way, but it gives our students something to talk about rather than the usual situation in which you talk about how was your summer, or how about your job, or do you like graphic design. So we give them something else. It's a bit more funny, it's a bit more interesting, and it's a bit more pregnant. They're going to keep this in the memory. And last but not least, session number 3, Helvetica, one font to rule them all. Helvetica is everywhere, every single place that it has to be formal. You should have Helvetica. It's the Swiss of the typography. It's more neutral, it's geometrically perfect, and it's in some places that we already know so well. The only thing is that sometimes it's difficult to guess which one is Helvetica and which one is not, because they have so many copies. Spoiler, American Airlines, they changed to Helvetica. Post-it, bold, 3M, extra bold, but it's everywhere. If you want to make a logo and make it work, use Helvetica. So if you use this and make your students think about this, they're going to have to research on their computer. But they don't know English probably that much. But they know about this. They know about images, they know about languages. And that's all so far. If you want some more information, you can download the TFM from this one, from the QR. Here's my website, my email, and if you have any questions, I'll be open to answer. No? Sure? I've seen so many people like glancing.
Algunos estudiantes no se les hace difícil debatir o ver las similitudes de los logos. O sea,
Claro, esa es una de las dificultades, porque tú tienes una clase en la que no todos tienen un conocimiento visual extenso, ¿no? Entonces se hace un poco complicado, pero es cierto que lo mismo que les enseñas un idioma, les tienes que enseñar a distinguir ese tipo de cosas. Si tú utilizas algo que es visual, para mí es mucho más sencillo explicárselo en otro idioma. Ahora, si tengo que andarme con abstracciones del lenguaje, ¿no? Como vamos a aprender a hacer condicionales. Ostras, pues ya me tengo que poner en situación y tengo que pensar, ¿cuándo usaría un condicional? Pues yo qué sé, si lloviera, claro, pues si lloviera está muy bien para un instituto, pero cuando estás hablando de diseño gráfico, ya tienes que hacerle el caso, ¿no? De, pues al cliente a lo mejor le diría, si mandara usted los archivos, pero claro, tampoco le puede hablar al cliente así, no es real, realmente no es real la enseñanza en inglés que hay. Entonces, si utilizas elementos visuales que ya conocen y que lo llevan viendo toda la vida, Es mucho más sencillo y aparte infecta mucho más. ¿Por qué? Porque tú ya, o sea, me apuesto lo que queráis a que vaya a salir de aquí y vaya a empezar a ver los carteles de otra manera. Nivel, las servilletas de la cafetería, los carteles del baño, otras exposiciones que aparecerán con comisán, lo siento mucho por vosotros, va a pasar, ya ha pasado esta mañana, y lo vais a ver de otra manera y vais a decir, ostras, pues esto ya me va sonando. Y os fijáis en la tipografía, os fijáis en los colores, os fijáis en las camisetas de la gente, ¿por qué ese mono que hace las camisetas de esas baratunas, ¿no? Que pone California en 1974, ahí manchadillo, dejadlo ya, o sea, hacer una cosa elegante, bonita. Pero es verdad que el lenguaje visual es mucho más universal que cualquier caso que tú puedas poner irreal, ¿no? En un ambiente que sigue siendo una clase que si dices, si lloviera ahora, no va a llover, estamos a 42 grados a la sombra, pero el efecto visual lo puedes utilizar siempre, porque tu clase va a estar rodeada, va a tener gente con el pelo largo, corto, pues todo eso aplicado a los efectos del diseño gráfico. Me parece muy útil, además, el poner una letra y decir, ¿esto en qué se diferencia? Pues no toda diferencia, pues ya la notarás. ¿Más preguntillas? He visto muchas cabezas moviéndose, asintiendo. Lo he notado, que estabais conmigo. Qué tensión, Dios mío. Está ahí todo.
¿Cuál es el objetivo del curso?
El objetivo, esto es una asignatura que se imparte en el grado de diseño gráfico. Entonces, ¿qué pasa? Que son 4 años, en segundo, pues decide la administración poner una asignatura de inglés para diseñadores gráficos. Y entonces, la principal dificultad es que esa asignatura solo está en segundo de carrera. Y solo son 2 horas semanales. Entonces, por muy bien que lo haga, como no le dé un recurso a los alumnos para que ellos sigan formándose después, pues realmente no sirve de nada. Es como si haces un año de chino mandarín. Mi caso, ¿me acuerdo de algo? Pues no. O sea, no me acuerdo de nada, porque fue un año. Y tampoco tenía herramientas para llegar a mi casa y ponerme a leer o buscar información. Entonces, la idea de la asignatura es que ellos encuentren el inglés en los sitios más insospechados. De hecho, esta mañana en la primera plenaria que ha habido, pues ha pasado eso, ¿no? Hablaban de un graffiti que estaba escrito en inglés. Ya hemos llegado a ese nivel en el que los adolescentes de España escriben graffiti en inglés. Pues claro, si tú les enseñas dónde se van a encontrar las dos cosas, diseño gráfico e inglés, pues desde las etiquetas de las camisetas hasta las actualizaciones del teléfono. Pero tienes que darle herramientas. El objetivo para mí principalmente es eso, que le cojan cariño, que le pierdan el miedo al inglés y que cuando quieran acordar se den cuenta que está en todas partes.
Como un ESP.
Claro, porque también se me hace un poco irreal, ¿no? Que aprendan inglés en la clase y luego se vayan. Yo esto lo digo, vamos, con efectos biográficos. Yo los 2 primeros años de inglés, pues me aprobaron porque era muy buena. Pero odiaba el inglés con todas mis fuerzas. Porque yo no entendía por qué tenía que hablar inglés, si hablaba español estupendamente. Y el segundo verano, que ya se me hacía muy, muy cuesta arriba, no sé, cada uno engancha el idioma de una manera diferente, cada uno empieza a entender las cosas de una forma diferente, y los que somos más lentillos, pues claro, lo que se hace en la clase, pues no nos vale. Y entonces mi hermano me quitó la música y me dijo, ¿te gusta mucho la música? Ya no vas a volver a escuchar música en español, ahora lo vas a escuchar todo en inglés. Se dio la afortunada coincidencia de que ese año, pues vinieron al mundo los Backstreet Boys. Y mi hermano tenía un talento para escuchar las canciones y sacar la letra. Porque en aquella época pues no había internet. Estoy hablando de años 95-96. Yo no sabía que cantaban, sabía que me gustaba un montón, pero no sabía que cantaban. Y a fuerza de tener una motivación por la que entenderlo, pues ahora soy filóloga inglesa. Entonces, claro, y una utilidad. Porque puedes estar muy motivado con algo y a los 2 años pues se te pasa 2 meses, 2 días, 2 divorcios, lo que sea. Pero si le encuentras una utilidad, pues es mucho más fácil que lo tenga, aunque sea como accesorio. Es decir, esto pertenece al máster de enseñanza, yo no me dedico al máster de enseñanza, bueno, no me dedico a la enseñanza reglada, Pero a mí esto me ha servido para otras cosas, ¿no? Para hablar eso de motivación, para hablar de ayuda, para hablar de diseño gráfico, mezclarlo todo y hacer una especie de ornitorrinco de destreza que tengan sentido ahora. Pero si no hay una motivación detrás para aprender, pues no sirve de nada. ¿Alguna preguntilla más? ¿No?
Sería más para hacer el aprendizaje significativo, ¿no? Realmente que es meaningful teaching.
Claro. Claro, pero ahora como tenemos esta tendencia, ¿no?, del communicative approach, la inmersión lingüística, dices, a mí eso me sigue fallando, me sigue pareciendo un poco irreal, me parece bueno, positivo, cuando te vas a otro país, pues claro, la inmersión lingüística yo creo que hace una diferencia tremenda, pero lo cierto es que ni todo el mundo tiene la posibilidad de irse, ni todo el mundo van a tener esa necesidad. Lo cierto es que el que lo está utilizando, ya lo está necesitando. Entonces, recursos con más inmediatez, que hombre, idílicamente, pues todos estudiaríamos fuera, viviríamos en Inglaterra, aprendíamos un inglés de la leche, pero lo cierto es que esas posibilidades no son tan reales como se nos quiere hacer parecer, ¿no? Hay los planes de estudio, lo que cuesta la carrera, el que tú llegas a la conclusión de lo que quieres hacer con tu vida. Tan sencillo como eso.
Sí, no, yo me refería a hacer el aprendizaje más significativo en el aspecto que aquí tú tomaste en cuenta el Student's Profile,
claro,
para contextualizar tu enseñanza.
Claro, porque aquí ya viene determinado. Aquí ya viene predeterminado por el centro, el tipo de grado y tal, ¿no? Entonces tienes que enfocarlo muy bien. Pues quizás sea más pertinente pues ese tipo de inglés para una entrevista de trabajo o para hacer un portfolio online, simplemente, o hacerte una página web, que quizás orientarlo a una conversación más de metro, viajes, trenes. Pues es orientativo, la verdad que ayuda mucho el tenerlo quizás tan orientado a eso. Sabes que hay muchas cosas que sí pueden caer en un momento dado, pero te las puedes apartar. Cuando enseñas inglés como idioma, eso es inabarcable. O sea, para mí es inabarcable, hay muchísimas cosas de las que hablar. ¿Más? ¿A la de uno? ¿A la de dos? ¿No? ¿Seguro? Bueno, pues finito. Muchas gracias a todos por venir. Gracias.